policy is very simple. We will stand with Israel, and we will support them. I was actually in Iowa the morning of October 7th when the attack happened, and I observed two things. One is I said, we stand with Israel, they have a right to defend themselves to the hilt, and most everyone was saying it that day. But what I said was, in the days and weeks to come, you're going to start to see the tables turn, and people are going to blame Israel. And that's exactly what's happened. So Biden says he supports them, then behind the scenes is trying to kneecap. We just need to stand with them in public and in private, in word and in deed. And, you know, it's not even about us giving them stuff. Like, yes, we do Iron Dome, and I support that. But that is not the thing that they need. What they need more than anything else is just unqualified American support for them to destroy once and for all Hamas. Because you cannot have, right across your border, an entity that wants to kill every one of your citizens. And that's what Hamas wants to do. They want a second Holocaust, and they would do that in a second if people let them get away with it. So Israel has to do what they need to do, and we need to support it. And, you know, people talk about civilians in Gaza. The fault of any civilians that get hurt, the fault is Hamas. It's not Israel. Hamas has chosen to put civilians in harm's way. And we shouldn't have any moral equivalence here, because Israel values life, Hamas glorifies death. And it's a much different worldview between the two of them. The other thing I thought about is just being governor of Florida, is I knew it was going to impact my state in a big way. We've got a lot of Israeli Americans. We've got a lot of people that go back and forth. And so I knew we'd have to do something at some point. Well, a couple days after the attack, got all these people, not just from Florida, but you Americans, stranded in Israel. State Department's not helping them, the embassy, Biden, none of this stuff. So I was like, all right, I'll take it. So we did an executive order. I scrambled planes in Florida. We worked with the Israeli government. I got them to land in Ben Gurion Airport, and we rescued over 700 people and brought them back. And the first flight, my wife and I met in Tampa Airport, and there were 271 passengers. 91 of them were children. And so these are people that were stranded. I mean, who knows? Some of them may have ended up being taken hostage by Hamas, because it was a crazy situation. And so finally Biden said, okay, they will transport people out of Israel, but they would dump them in Greece. And they said, you got to find out how to get home on your own from Greece. Well, that's not that easy to do. But then, to make matters worse, they were charging the people for the transportation from Israel to Greece. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. You come across this border illegally, and Biden will fly you to Timbuktu free of charge. He'll put you in hotels free of charge. And yet you're going to charge our own citizens who are leaving a war zone? Talk about putting the American people last. What a joke. So we were able to do that. We had so many people in Florida that donated all kind of stuff. So when the planes would go back, we would bring everything from medical supplies to helmets to Kevlar vests, you name it. We did it. And so we just show that we step in and we act when we need to. We also just did a special session of the Florida legislature, and we expanded our sanctions against Iran. And we also provided adequate security, or more beefed up security, for some of our Jewish institutions, like our day schools and our synagogues. So we're proud to actually take action. Most people are just talking about it. We're actually doing it. And as president, we will have a very strong relationship between the U.S. and Israel. They're our only true ally in the Middle East. We've got great economic ties, military ties, intelligence, but also cultural ties, and it's a unique country because that is the cradle of Western civilization. You can go, if you ever have a chance to go, you can take the Bible, you can open it up, you can look, and you can walk where Abraham was. You can walk, you can go to see the valley where David fought Goliath. You can go to King David's city that he built, the ruins. You can go where Jesus walked. And there's no other place in the world that has that type of connection to Western civilization and our Judeo-Christian society. And so Israel is a great steward of that very, very important land. Yes? Well, it's interesting. They've sent a lot of money to give like pensions for their bureaucrats and salaries. We can't be sending tax dollars to just pay welfare for another country. That's not our role. Now, I do think we need Russia to be in a box. It's interesting, Congress has had a lot of back and forth. They haven't really done anything more. And so now Europe is doing more. And I think Europe should be doing its fair share. And so you're seeing that now. So we're going to make them do their fair share. Yes, sir. We are going to bring a reckoning to everybody in the federal government and all agencies that were involved in COVID. They pursued policies that were destructive to this country. And if you didn't have Kim as governor, it would have been much more destructive in Iowa because she didn't follow a lot of the stuff they were trying to do.